And we are back here on Football Talk, and right now we're going to get to my favorite part, the inaugural part here of NFL Week number 1. What do you think about this coming week?
Well, you're going to see a lot of starts, there's been, in the offseason, there's been a lot of changes between players and personnel, and, you got to look at the fact that, there are a lot of big names getting moved around here this year. So you got a lot of college people coming up. You got Kyle Wilson, you got Ndamukong Suh. You know what I mean? You got a lot of guys.
Real quick, who do you think was the biggest pickup for a team in the offseason? Free agent-wise, I don't mean draft-wise.
Free agency-wise? You don't mean... Okay. Free agency-wise, I'm going to have to go with the Bears acquiring Julius Peppers. Hey.
The Bears and Julius Peppers.
Really? That's all I got to say, really? Look,
it might not be the biggest. It might not be the biggest, but it's going to be the most interesting one. I'm telling you one right now, because their defense has been lacking leadership, and I think Julius Peppers brings that.
Well, wait a minute. Brian Urlacher is going to be back.
Yes, but you have to think of it this way: Brian Urlacher and Julius Peppers on the same team, both of which are they're leading guys. They can psych up any defense. And I tell you right now,
Julius Peppers is a fraud. I don't care what anybody says, but
the Bears are going to have. I'm telling you right now, the Bears are going to have one of the top 5 defenses in the NFL this year.
Well, that's fine. Let's get to a real team.
Dallas Cowboys, and then not that I agree with this, but Dallas Cowboys, although they're now picked up there with the Saints and the Packers to go to the Super Bowl, I don't necessarily know if I agree with that. They have not scored one offensive touchdown in all of preseason. I know it's preseason. I know it's the first team starters, but doesn't that worry you just a little bit if you're a Dallas Cowboys fan?
Well, I'll tell you what. I didn't watch much of the preseason. Preseason never interests me, but I did notice that, and you know what I mean. If your team can't score offensively, you can't rely on the defense to make points all the time.
No, well, you're going to have to eventually. You're going to have to rely on points. How are you going to play a ball game? Come on.
You know what I mean. But the thing about it is if your offense can't score points, you're not going to win games. That's the offense's main job, is to score points. And the defense's job is to prevent points from being scored. But there are teams out there like the Green Bay Packers who, there are teams that you can't stop them from scoring.
And by the way, I'd just like to say this. I think the Packers are going to the Super Bowl this year.
I'll agree with that.
Okay.
I'll agree with that.
I really do think so. I watched the Saints last night, and I saw that game play out between the Vikings and the Saints, and I'm sorry, I don't think the Saints are going to be... I think both of those teams are going to be stepping down a little bit from last year. I don't think they're going to be nearly as good as they were last year. The Saints just didn't have that oomph that they had last year.
Yeah, one of the interviews that happened after the game was with Drew Brees, and he did say that they are not used to scoring such a low amount of points. They only scored 14 points. They had 2 touchdowns, and
And for a team like the Raiders, that would be a lot.
Yeah, they'd be happy with that.
They'd be happy with 14 points. By the way, what do you think about Jason Campbell going to the Raiders right now? Do you think that's a good idea? Which leads me, and then you can answer that by saying, do you think McNabb going to the Redskins was a good idea? I personally don't, because I'm a McNabb fan. I think McNabb is a good football player.
When it comes to both of those teams, I'll tell you what, they can't do any worse.
Well, wait a minute. The Redskins can do worse. They were 4-12 last year.
Listen, let's get... Oh, yeah, they can win no games. True. But let's get back to last night's
Lions
game.
of 2008.
Let's get back to last night's game.
About last
Brett Favre, 15 for 27, 171 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Okay?
Oh, that's...
My opinion with Brett Favre is the only reason he came back is because he does not want to leave the NFL without that.
But you have to feel for Brett Favre, though.
I feel for the guy. I do, but he was getting beat up, throughout the game, and
well, is it going to be progressively worse on his body this year, or do you think he eventually comes out of it and says, "Oh, I wasn't in training camp at all. This is just my knees are now back to where they were last year," and he becomes that big football player that everyone was used to seeing last year?
You know what? It can go either way. For me, I think that if he keeps taking hits, he's not going to go the whole season. He's not going to go. He's an old man. Honestly, my opinion, he should just stick to Levi's commercials. That's my opinion.
That's like saying Tony Romo should stick to AT&T commercials. That's come on. You don't have a shot. You don't have a shot. Tony Romo is a fraud. Eli Manning's a fraud. Kevin Cobb's a fraud, and Donovan McNabb could be a fraud. So everyone in that division. I'll tell you who's not a fraud right now, and I know I'm really saying this truthfully. Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in the league right now, and look who he followed, Brett Favre. He used to be the best quarterback in the league. He's not anymore. So I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be the Drew Brees of last year. I really do feel that way, and that's just me saying what I feel. But right now, I mean, don't you think
Aaron Rodgers is hot? He's hot. He's, in my opinion, he's the hottest quarterback in the league right now. He's unstoppable. The guy, the one game he had was somewhere around 253 yards, 3 touchdowns.
I mean, that's just
and he only played a quarter and a half. If the Green Bay Packers, they seem to be unstoppable at this point.
They're unstoppable, but what are you going to do if the Eagles win that game, the opening game against the Packers? Everyone's going to be scratching their heads because, to be honest with you, nobody knows what to expect with the Eagles this year. I mean, they're either going to be good or bad.
The Eagles have, in the preseason, the Eagles have shown signs of the makings of a great team that will, head into the postseason. But then again, they've also...
Wait a minute, I thought you were going somewhere else there. I think they showed nothing.
But
I don't know about that.
They had small spurts. I'm not saying there were many. I'm not saying there were many, but there were some,
Yeah, LaShawn McCoy running 2 yards. That's a small spurt. Look, let me tell you something. This team looked terrible in the preseason. And I want to tell you something right now. If you think they're going to win by doing all that kind of stuff, you are wrong.
I never said they were going to win, but I've seen a couple plays throughout the
5-11. Give them 5-11 this year, people. You heard it right here.
I have seen a couple plays throughout the preseason that showed me, if they played the rest of the game like this.
What preseason games have you been watching?
You know what?
Because I've been watching the same things too, and I don't see it.
I think you judge just too harshly, Mike.
I am one to judge, but
not everybody. Maybe if they had a wide receiver like you on their team.
What can I say? And get injured like me too. After the break, we'll be back and we'll be talking NFL Week 1 matchups. Stay tuned.